In this lecture, I want to argue for one big idea, one big and controversial idea. It is that the ethics of journalism is too narrow to guide the changing world of journalism today. And journalists must go global, redefining themselves as agents of a public sphere that serves readers across borders. In short, we need a global journalism ethics. Now here's some background. By journalism ethics, I mean responsible practice in journalism and news media, both by individual reporters and news organizations. And the ethical question is this: how should journalism fulfill its public role of informing citizens on essential issues? Now, across 400 years of modern journalism, from broadsides to websites, its ethics has been parochial. It has been assumed that journalists serve the readers of a local newspaper, the audience of a regional broadcast, or the citizens of a country. Journalism ethics stops at the border. In a global world, why not take the next step and define one's public as readers within and without your country? Why not go global? The question, however, can be thrown right back at me. Isn't ethics complicated enough without dragging in global concerns? So I'll give you 5 reasons in 5 minutes. Reason number 1. The news media is in fact increasingly global, and the facts are familiar. Media corporations are increasingly global enterprises, and their technology gives them the ability to gather information instantly from remote locations. Journalism ethics will not be credible if it avoids engagement with these new complexities. Reason number 2. Global impact entails global responsibilities. Reports reach people around the world, influencing the actions of governments, humanitarian agencies, and warring ethnic groups. The publications of cartoons of Mohammed in one paper, in one country, Denmark, rippled across the world with violence. But this is not reflected in current codes of journalism ethics. Reason number 3. A global journalism is required in a world where media bring together a plurality of religious and ethnic groups with varying values. Our world is not a cozy McLuhan village. In such a climate, we need to emphasize journalism as a bridge of understanding across cultures. A parochial journalism can wreak havoc because unless properly reported, North American readers may fail to understand violence in the Middle East. Jingoistic reports portray other cultures as a threat. Biased reports incite ethnic groups to attack each other. Reason number 4. A global-minded journalism is needed to help citizens understand the daunting global problems of poverty, environmental degradation, technological inequalities, and political instability. And these problems will require concerted global action and a citizenship that knows that we need new global institutions. Reason number 5. A global ethics is needed to unify journalists around the world to construct a fair and informed media. Without global principles, it is difficult to criticize media practices in other countries, including severe restrictions on the press and on the internet. What would such a global ethics look like? Journalists would see themselves as agents of a global sphere. The goal would be a global media that challenges the distortions of tyrants and the abuses of human rights. Journalism's contract with society would become a multi-society contract with readers in many countries. Global objectivity would ask journalists to not allow their bias towards their town or their country bias their international reports. And moreover, a report would not be counted as accurate or balanced unless it included international scenes, sources, and cross-cultural perspectives. Finally, a global journalism would reject extreme patriotism. In times of insecurity, a narrow-minded patriotic news media support leaders who stampede populations into war or remove civil liberties. It was disturbing to see how some organizations during the Iraq War shucked off their so-called commitment to objectivity as soon as the drums of war started beating. So, not every story requires a global approach, but there are many issues. Military intervention, for example, climate change, a fair world trading system, where journalists need to adopt the perspective of global justice. So, those are my 5 reasons, and much is at stake. Only if journalists re-examine their ethical role in a global world will they survive as critical informers and as a force for humanity. Thank you.